older people, once you come on to pension, you get onto state pension, and the state pension in Britain isn't that great, if, compared to Germany, France, and Spain. It's much more generous in those countries. In this country, it's not great. I mean, there's a lot of play on saying that older people have got a better deal than younger people. There's like an intergenerational thing that goes on. And it's a mistake to go along with the thing thinking that older people is, life for them is a lot better than it is for younger people. Well, that ain't necessarily the case. The housing in this borough is quite old. It's been around a long time. And particularly with older people who are struggling, the house, you can tell sometimes by walking down the road, the house is neglected, the front garden's a mess, the windows are old, it can be drafty. It affects people. And of course, when you've got a house that's not well insulated, for example, and you're trying to heat it with an electric heater, it's going to cost you a lot more money because it's not done very efficiently. And there's a lot of that in Kingston. We do stuff around keeping people warm at winter. The winter generally is a really tough time for a lot of older people, particularly January, February, when it gets really cold sometimes. You get what is known as excess deaths, and Kingston's not too great at that because if you look at the numbers across London and England, Kingston's quite high, but a lot of that I put down to the fact that the housing stock is quite old, even though it's privately owned. And this is another thing about a myth about older people, is that they do live in a house that is they bought probably 40, 45 years ago. And is actually on paper worth an awful lot of money. But so they are what people refer to as being asset rich but cash poor. They don't have the money. And a lot of the time when we talk to people, we do talk about housing, we do talk about moving and possibly going to sheltered housing, where else they'd want to do. But people just get stuck in some of their circumstances. We come across an area where we're working with a particular older person and it's winter and they're worried about paying the bill. So therefore they're not putting heating on. We will tell them, put your heating on, don't worry about paying the bill.
Nice.
They're not going to.
We will help.
We will help, and we won't let them cart you off to prison because people think it's all going to go crazy and it's all going to go this or whatever. But the energy companies who make massive profits, if they end up flinging 89-year-olds into jail, it's not really a good look. We can advocate on behalf of people, and we do that. Our information advice team does that. Does it with electricity bills. We argue if people get themselves into a mess, how we can sort that out. Because we're working pretty exclusively with vulnerable people, and some of the most vulnerable people in the borough.